All right, everybody. This will be a warning to all politicians. I'm running for president 2024, part 39. Wanted to go over the rebuilding America and urban renewal, if you'll have it. Some things about that. I've been thinking, we could call it something like Operation Fresh Start or Operation Hope or something like that. Came to my mind. I was thinking, about all these places: Seattle, Portland, the Bay Area, LA. Now you get Minneapolis, New York, Atlanta. All these places, these Democrats have controlled, these liberals. And I'm not going to let the Republicans off the hook either, because Congress has been shameful through all of this. No one wants to, on either side, come out and denounce anything. Some on the left are supporting some of this lunacy. Still nothing in the mainstream, not even on Fox, about George Floyd's record or any of the other records of and the truth behind some of these shootings. If you look at Anthony Brian Logan, Officer Tatum, Candace Owens, who all, by the way, are African American, you will see a lot of the stuff that you hear about, a lot of the stuff you're not being told in the mainstream. So anyway, these cities. Oh, and by the way, looking at our political situation right now, the United States is big on exporting democracy around the world ever since the days of John F. Kennedy. He gave that speech, and even before that, but it became a big thing. If you were in another nation around the world and you're trying to convince, become democratic, this and that and everything, you looked over here and you saw how these two parties are behaving and allowing lawlessness for the sake of their political asses and not protecting the citizens of the nation, you'd have to be scratching your head going, is that what we want? Is that what democracy leads to? Politicians just worried about their own hides and afraid to say what's wrong or right? Afraid to speak the truth? Afraid to bring up the record of a criminal? A career criminals and drug dealers? So, you got to wonder what people think around the world right now looking at this, and if they're getting the whole story of anything. So anyway, you look at these cities and everything with all these problems, and it occurred to me, like Seattle. I've been to Seattle plenty of times, and when there's game on and everything, man, those announcers make Seattle seem like, woohoo, it's the place. If they were to show you outside around the stadium, the people living in garbage, in makeshift homes out of plastic tarps and cardboard boxes and things like that and everything, you wouldn't think Seattle was such a great place. The Bay Area, you have all these diehard liberals and stuff who live over in the good neighborhoods in San Francisco and all that, but you'll never see any of them out there underneath the overpasses where the black guys from Oakland who got pushed out live under the overpasses. The cities even put out, porta potties for them and fenced off the areas under the overpasses and stuff. And other places in California that's been done also, down in Southern California. They won't take you down into Compton and the other areas around there, down around Long Beach, and well, even for that matter, over in a lot of California, in over by Fontana, Corona, all over the place. Anywhere there's an industrial area that allows parking on the streets, like a warehouse district or things like that, there are plenty of campers. Many are dilapidated, parked on the sides of the road, and people dump their waste and everything right out into the street. And then some of these areas back up to neighborhoods. And a lot of those neighborhoods, because the places I've delivered to around a lot of those places, who runs the forklifts and stuff, usually and works in these warehouses, Mexican Americans. And so a lot of them have homes around there. And they will tell you flat out, they're fed up with these people, with these campers who are dumping sewage and stuff in their streets. Now, all these places have been they were like this before Trump got in office. You understand this? This problem has been ongoing and has existed before Trump got in office. Now, these Democrat governors of these states and these mayors have done nothing at all. And then Trump gets in office, and all these lily whites, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, all the people in the Bay and Seattle, all the beatniks up there who do nothing but drink coffee and smoke weed. All of a sudden Trump's the villain. He's responsible for all the problems that existed before he ever got in office. Now, why don't people in California vent their anger on the governor for allowing those conditions and for allowing those things? Why is it pointed to Washington, D.C.? No matter who's the president, why is the ire pointed towards Washington, D.C.? The president didn't make those conditions in that state. States are responsible for the conditions in their states. See, I think that's another thing. If we can reduce the federal budget, get rid of sales tax, and then have a equitable tax code for the states and everything, to do maybe raise their taxes a little bit, take care of their own problems, then people will interact more with their state legislatures. All the focus, because you can't do squat once your money reaches D.C. There's not a lot you can do. But in your local area, your local community, your city government, all that is accessible to you fairly easy. And since they have to listen to you because you will vote them out of office, maybe they would get off their lazy asses and do stuff. Because I don't see any of these people who say they're for the poor and for minorities and stuff. I've never seen them. I've never seen Jimmy Kimmel out there on these streets there where all these campers are and stuff, checking on people, feeding them, anything like that. Never seen Stephen Colbert anywhere up there in the city where the guys go out underneath the overpasses and the viaducts there, and when the traffic stops, come up to your cars begging and stuff. Never seen AOC out there. Never seen anybody out there going to check on these people and help them out. They leave it to who? The police. And it's not the police's job. So, it amazes me how they spin and they talk, and they're talking out both sides of their mouths. If you're listening to these people on the left and you believe in their ideologies and stuff, step back. Just take a step back. You live in California, you live in Southern California or the Bay Area, take a step back. And honestly, ask yourself, did Donald Trump create those conditions? Who has been running your state? there's no doubt the economy picked up and many, many jobs were created when Donald Trump came into office. He might have alleviated a lot of those problems there. So I think part of Operation Fresh Start and everything will be also to, not just the homeless you see under the overpasses, but these people who are living in their campers. And again, I threw out numbers and stuff, saying like, if it costs, $200,000 per unit or whatever, the more infrastructure you build will change those numbers. But if you think the basic labor and materials in the property for a house, you're looking at, 70, 80,000 in materials, if that much, and the labor, they can knock them out fairly quick. I don't think the labor's got to be more than 20,000. You look at the property, all right, maybe you're spending, because you're not going to get a full acre or nothing like that, so maybe another 25,000. And if the state already owns the land, or the city does, due to back taxes and stuff, then that's not even going to cost you that much. And so if you were to print U.S. Treasury notes again, not Federal Reserve notes, and this has been done before, there's nothing wrong with doing it, and print up however many 100 billion you need, and you go to New York and you say, here we go, we're going to give you this money. It's not a loan from the federal government. It's going to be influx. It's investing in America. We're going to give you, we'll have to crunch the numbers, X amount of dollars to make this many housing units for lower income, and also for city workers as incentive for police, firemen, and we're not just going to give people welfare and push them away in some tenement somewhere that they have no vested interest in or anything like that. Because you know what? I find that if you give people a reason to put their best foot forward, they will put their best foot forward. If you don't give them a reason, you don't give them an environment to do it, they're not going to do it. So, whatever it costs, here you go, New York, here's $10 billion. Here you go, Miami, here's $10 billion. Here you go, LA, $10 billion. Seattle, $10 billion. We want to see units. We want to see, improved infrastructure. And some of this money, you can use for like light rail, some of it, but the majority of it, you can use for like light rail and bike paths and stuff that makes sense and don't have them out in regular traffic, and we'll do a whole nother infrastructure package too, because if you ever traveled the I-5 from Seattle down to Portland, it's atrocious. How those people up there have put up with that year after year after year. What are their politicians doing? See, that's the thing. A lot of these people, whether they're the celebrities or the politicians and stuff, they travel in their own little tight-knit circles. They're not mingling. They're not out there in the real world, in the working world and all this and everything. They don't travel in those circles. They're isolated from real life. They've reached another level. You're not going to find very many of them eating at the Denny's, and this and that. They're going to go to their posh, restaurants, especially the celebrities and this and that. And these people that are homeless and everything like that, they don't live in their neighborhoods. They do not live in their neighborhoods. And you'll never see them, leave their neighborhoods and go down to where these people live and do a damn thing for them. Never. All these people are good at flapping their gums, but you will never see them go down there and do a damn thing, unless it's for a photo op for their like the NFL. They'll go down to a soup kitchen or something, or a church on Thanksgiving and dole out some turkey. But other than that, I've probably given more to guys on street corners and in truck stop parking lots and stuff like that than they've ever given in charity. A lot of them, unless it's to their own, one of their celebrity friends' charities. Which, if you dig deep on a lot of that, there's been plenty of those that have been found to be scams. So, but they're good at flapping their gums. Don't see them out there doing a damn thing to change it. Don't see them out there, buying people homes or anything, getting them off the street. Don't see any of that. And you can bet you'd see and hear about it if any of them did anything like that. But just occurred to me, what do other countries think looking over here? We're trying to encourage democracy, and they look over here and they see all these chicken shit politicians we have who won't do a damn thing about anything if it'll hurt them in the polls or their political careers and stuff like this. And we can't take a stand on that. The people might not like that, and that'll hurt us in the election, and the party has to win. It was the same thing with wars. No party wants to be the one to lose the war, so they'll bitch about it while they're not in power. Then when they get in power, they always find a reason to keep it going. That's another one of their favorite things. Blaming each other for when war goes bad, or getting involved in it. So you gotta wonder, these countries around the world, do we really want a system like America? Got a bunch of chicken shits flapping their gums and nothing getting done, and all the lawlessness in the streets. So a lot of them politicians, you know what? Watch some John Wayne movies. Watch some True Grit, Cowboys, Rio Bravo, El Dorado. Anything that'll make you grow some stones, okay? The Duke had stones. Why don't you grow some? Do America a favor. Congress. So, and you, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, you watch some John Wayne too. You grow some stones, because crying on TV just really isn't it, man. Crocodile tears about stuff and not having the stones to do anything about it. That just ain't gonna cut it. So we can make this investment in America, and then also, I'm saying about doing a lot for the poor and the homeless. The rest of America might be thinking, well, what's in it for us? We're going to spend all this money, and then we're going to be taxed back and everything. And it's not going to be taxed back. The money will circulate. More people working, involved in their communities. Businesses will want to be in those communities. And then, as a matter of fact, we'll look at the tax code, and what's the personal exemption now, what is it, and like I said, we'll look at minimum wage rates and labor laws, excuse me, stuff like that. And also, we'll give tax breaks, to modernize your homes, to get the energy efficient stuff in, maybe to put better insulation in or to add solar, this type of stuff. And find every avenue we can to also do for middle class and small business. Look at all these businesses, these small businesses closing because of COVID and the constant upheaval in the cities and stuff. There's more, will make money available for all these people who had businesses before we give money, maybe some of these areas too, where we're going to rebuild these neighborhoods. We'll give some entrepreneur money for people in those neighborhoods who qualify to start businesses. But before we do that, all these people who have lost their businesses and everything, they will be given an opportunity, no interest, startup money, maybe not even a loan, maybe grants. Here you go, get your business back up and running. You'll be included in the Operation Fresh Start. So we'll do that, and then all these people in these communities and stuff, like I said, no serious criminals and this and that, minor offenders. Each state will have to work out what'll be acceptable, and the federal will have a code too. But like I'm thinking, hey, you got minor offenses, maybe we can wipe those clean. You get a GED if you don't have one. If it's something like DUI or whatever, hey, you gotta go to some type of counseling thing. Make sure you're clean. If it was like domestic violence or something like that, you got to go to anger management, whatever. We'll put standards in. We'll give people a way that minor offenses we can take, even like you got a bunch of tickets, whatever it is, outstanding tickets and warrants for tickets or whatever. We can wipe those clean. You do something positive to get yourself on the list. Get a GED, go to counseling, something like that. You get so you can get back in the game and have a fresh start. Serious offenses, I'm sorry, that ain't gonna happen. We're not gonna put child molesters and rapists into these neighborhoods, or murderers or attempted murders and stuff like that. That ain't gonna happen. You got minor possession, something like that, okay. Dealing drugs, stuff like that, trafficking, no way. Ain't happening. It ain't happening. And then even for middle class America and some of these small businesses who've been set back by all this and everything, guess what? If you're behind on your taxes, it's not an extreme amount. Say it's $10,000 a year, whatever, for 5 years or something, whatever it is. We'll look at it and we'll come up with an average number and stuff. We'll wipe that clean too. We'll get rid of your tax debt, give you incentives to modernize your homes, and get your small businesses back on track if you lost your business because of all this stuff. If it isn't already done by then, we'll see what Trump does because the way things are going, he's a shoo-in now. He's a shoo-in now. These people in these little enclaves who incite all this stuff have no idea the bulk of the country does not go along with all this. And a lot of it looks extreme, and some of it, I mean, it is extreme, the violence and the looting and stuff. But you would think it's, everywhere, spread across every. Once you get outside of the cities, some of these cities, life is normal everywhere, even with the COVID stuff. So, You know, if you're glued to that TV all the time and it's like the whole world's falling apart and stuff, it's not. You know, they want to scintillate and keep you glued to the TV and incite people and make fear in people and all this kind of stuff. But for the most part, people are still just people wherever you go. Blacks and whites are not at each other's throats all over the place. You know, everyone's still cordial and friendly, and I think can differentiate. Sorry, that's another thing I'm going to say. I'm sorry for gaffes throughout all of these. Any gaffes, mispronunciations, my bad grammar, any cursing, all those types of things. So keep that in mind, and just look at my ideas for stuff. If you agree with them, if you think it'll be a good thing, write me in when the time comes, and I'll file the paperwork whenever I can declare. I still have to look all that up for 2024, and we'll give it a shot. So I wanted to say that too. But you know what, we can do this. This is the United States of America. And we'll print treasury notes, and as long as our GDP is like $1 trillion, was it? No, it's more than $1 trillion. It's like $2 trillion a year, ain't it? What is it? As long as the cash you put into the society doesn't exceed a certain ratio of your GDP and stuff, it's not going to cause mass inflation. It's not going to cause any problems. And it's been done before. We'll print treasury notes, no interest on them, to the Federal Reserve, straight to the cities' accounts, or the states. We'll see how best to do it, because lots of times you give it to the state and the city's never going to see it. So, and we'll put some top-notch people in charge of the whole shebang, people who know what it is to roll up your sleeves and go to work, and who, when they say no BS, and you're not going to skim, and you're not going to do this, and we're going to get the job done, you're not going to postpone, you're not going to hold it up, and you know, really know how to get in people's faces and move stuff and get stuff done, and won't let the spin doctors and the you know, pandering politicians get in the way, or the whoever, you know, take charge kind of people I'm talking about. You know, if you like the get her done type people. So those are my ideas, and my opinions on things. And there was some I thought some more environmental stuff. I guess I'll have to do another one. Anyway, this will be part 39 of warning to all politicians. I'm running for president in 2024. And you can give me a thumbs up if you want. I don't want any money. I don't want any monetization on YouTube, anything like that. No volunteers, no campaign funds, no nothing. Just what I think and my ideas on how we can fix things. And if you like them, you know, when the time comes, you write me in. Until then, give me a thumbs up or whatever. We get enough numbers up there. Maybe we can make the politicians take note and start moving their rears on a lot of this stuff right now, instead of having to wait till 2024. Like I said, you know, these are the things I want to do. But if they can get moving on a lot of it and stuff and everything, then it doesn't matter to me, as long as it gets done, because it needs to get done. Cities have been neglected. Transportation systems have been neglected. Education system's been neglected. And all Congress can do is flap their gums at each other. That's it. Go jump in front of the TV cameras every chance they get, and either to demean the other side or something, or announce that they're signing this or signing that, which won't do anything for anybody. They're gonna throw some money away to go study cow farts. So anyhow, those are my ideas. Wish you all the best out there. Good luck. God bless. We'll catch you on the next one. Adios.